Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. In our last class, we discussed the Upanayan, which was an investiture with a sacred thread performed for boys. And this evening, we're going to discuss the Kumari Puja, which is the worship of young girls. Kumari is the goddess of purity, innocence, and trust. Her worship instills these qualities into the little girl and by extension to the worshiper and the congregation, because we get the prasad of our offering. After being worshipped, the girl will remain a goddess for the rest of her life. So it's really an important step in a young girl's life. But it is not called a sanskara necessarily because it is not mandatory for all girls. Now, many shall be called, but few shall be. This is a great honor which young girls are afforded. So the girl is between the ages of 3 and 13, although most 3-year-olds are pretty difficult to worship because they squirm around and move around and they can't sit still. We usually take them from 4, and the younger they are, the better, the more fun it is. But 11, 12, and 13 are also acceptable, as is appropriate for the occasion. That means consider the availability, consider the practicality, consider the suitability, consider that there are many considerations that go into the selection of Kumari. Now, small girls who cannot sit still will not be chosen. Now, the object of the puja is to give the little girl so much love and so much attention that she actually feels divine and empowered to give blessings to the congregation present. So, we're gonna just give her all the bhakti that we possibly can and mesmerize, hypnotize, infatuate, and arrest her wandering mind and bring it to a point of focus where she is actively engaged in playing the role of the goddess. On an appropriate day, having completed nitya karma sankalpas, that means, well, for us, it'll be the cosmic puja, it'll be the chandi homa, etc. The pujari, and notice here, this isn't generally performed by a family member. This is usually performed by someone on the outside. So whoever is selected as the pujari, or whoever has selected the Kumari to be his goddess, the pujari will sit facing the Kumari just opposite, who will be facing either south or west. So the pujari is facing north, or he's facing east, and the goddess is facing west or south. And that means that the Kumari is sitting with her back to the north or to the east. And she will be dressed and decorated like a goddess. I'm sure many of you may have seen just last week we performed Kumari Puja. We decorated the young girl as a goddess, and she's wearing fine cloth and ornaments and with so many decorations on her face and on her hands and henna and all the dots and nose ring and earrings and malas and garlands and jewelry. She looks just like the goddess. So the pujari will make the sankalpa, shanti, and swasti bachan, worship Ganesh, Adi, and the 16 matrikas, and then he recites the dhyan and nyas for the Kumari. So remember, Om Kumaring Rigveda Yutam Brahma Rupam Vichindayate Ansastitang Kushahastang Surya Mandala Sanstitam Kumaring Kamalaram Trinitram Chandrasekaram Tapta Kanchana Barnabhyam Nana Alankar Bhushitam Ratambara Bridarang, Ratamalam Lepanam, Baminaha Abagindakin, Dakshinina Parapradam, Om Sarva Pishta Prade Devi, Sarva Padabini Bakinin, Sarva Shanti Kari Deving, Namostute Kumari Ke, Brahmi Maheshwari Rodri, Rupa Tritaya Darining, Aboyam Gurande, Narayani Namo-Astute. Now, Kumari's Bij mantra is Kaum, which translates as Kom, King, Kum, Koin, Kom, Ka. So if you're doing Anganyasa, you'll do all the nyasas with Kom, Kong, Gusta, Byang, the Bom, King, Parjani, Byang, Swaham, Kum, Malaba, Byang, Bosa, Koing, Alamika, Byang, Kong, Konishtika, Bosa, Ka, Kurl, Kapeshka, Banga, Straya, Om, Kong, Kumari, Namaka. So once you know the Bij mantra, it's easy to worship Kumari. Then the Pujari, after Danyas Japadi, the Pujari will make Avahom. Agachake Hamaha Devi Sarvasam Papradagini Yavaprata Samapyeta Tavatwam Sanido Baba Om Kom Kumari Namaha Avahanam Samarpayami. So now, if you go into the cosmic puja and you go to the offering section under Naivedyams, you have the Abham, the Padyam, the Orgyam, and then you put a platter in front of her feet. You put her both feet inside the bowl, and then you can wash her feet with panchamrita, with milk, yogurt, ghee, honey, and sugar. Mix them all together, pour a little rose water, udvartan, and wash them off with water. And now you dry the feet with paper towels, and the pujari will complete the balance of offerings. Give her new cloth. She's already wearing new cloth as a goddess. Now you give her a shawl, you give her ornaments, etc., until the food offerings are made. Now, all the powders, the tilaks, the sindur, the kumkum, chandan, haridram, that's turmeric. You give her all the dots and spots, and then when the food offerings are made, you show her the platter, and then we feed her. And we feed her all the things that she likes, and the thing, it's her choice. And you'll, as the pujari, you get to understand with her eye movements what she wants more of and what she doesn't like. And so those things that you'll choose, and you just absolutely put the food into her mouth and let her chew, and give her a little juice or water to wash it down with. You complete feeding her. Then you sing stotrams, and you can say, we sing the 5th chapter of the Devi of the Chandi, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. And while we're singing to her and feeding her and worshiping her, and then after all the offerings are completed, we give her dakshina, and we bow to her and ask her for her blessing. And a good Kumari will just say, I bless you with. And that what she blesses us with is her choice. And that's where the delight comes in. Because I've seen Kumaris take bless every individual with something different, which was appropriate for them. One, she gave wisdom. One, she gave patience. One, she gave knowledge. One, she gave strength. She gave everybody what they needed. And I've seen many Kumaris like that. I want to tell you a story about one Kumari in Calcutta. Actually, it was in Howrah in Bamangati. We made a yagya in Bamangati, and there was a young girl, I think she was 6 years old, and this Kumari was so beautiful, but after we finished a very lengthy, ornate puja, she sat there for 1 hour while I did worship to her, and she didn't move. And afterwards, I sat with the bowl of charanamrit, and Ma was giving tilak, and the Kumari was giving blessings, and the line of devotees didn't stop. It just went on for hours and hours. I mean, there were thousands of people just kept coming to get a blessing from this Kumari. And it was about 5 hours that we were sitting there, and we finished, and the little girl turned to me and said, "Swamiji, you have more patience than anyone I ever met. You could sit here that long and give charanamrit to all those people." And I was amazed. I started to cry. Here was the goddess. She had so much patience. She could sit there. I've been doing this for many, many years, and she was able to sit there, and she turned to me and said, "You are the patient one because you could sit there reciting the mantra and giving the charanamrit." And she was giving blessings and laying her hands on every head that came and gave blessings. And everyone got what they needed. Well, everyone's going to join in the arati. And you have a darshan line and take blessings from Kumari, offer her flowers and dakshina, and receive the charanamrit and prasad, the ashirbat, and these are the blessings. This is how we perform a Kumari Puja. The padoti is, the system of worship is very similar to that which we use for every other goddess. For the Durga, for Lakshmi, for Kali, for Saraswati. This is the same type of system of worship that we use for the goddesses. So you can learn that padoti, that system of worship, from the Cosmic Puja, and also the Kumari Dhyanams are within the Cosmic Puja as well. And they're all written. And let's see if we have any questions about Kumari Puja. I have a few already sent in to me. Devi is asking, Namaste Devi. Is this something parents can do, or should it be done by a guru? And actually, parents don't really want to worship their own daughter. It's not customary. It's customary. You could have a friend, you could have a guru bai, you could have the guru, you could have a fellow disciple, you could have someone in the congregation. Generally, you would not worship your own children. In cases when unable to get to the guru because of distance, can parents do Kumari Puja to the child after discussing with the guru? You can. It's not customary, Devi. The Kumari Puja is generally performed by a priest, by a guru bai, or with some guru leading another disciple through the process. Rami is asking, hi Rami, Mommy, Namaste. How do we sustain the feeling in our daughter after Kumari Puja of being a divine being and giving blessings to all with her actions? And with our actions, how do we sustain that feeling? I would remind her every day that you are the goddess of purity. That means you have to clean up your room. You're the goddess of innocence and trust. That means you have to listen to what your mom and dad say. I would also remind her every day that she is a goddess, and we as family members want to take your blessings every day. So I would say, hey, Kumari, you know the drill. You know how to give blessings. Hey, stop what you're doing for a moment before you leave and give us blessings so that we can experience your love and your purity and your trust all throughout the day. What practices can we do as a family to remember and reinforce the experience of Kumari Puja? Wow, as a family, we could all get together and sit down and do a spiritual practice every day as a family. We could do that and say, hey, you are a goddess, you know how to sit still. We saw you do it. You know what it means to be still. Stong, sting, stiro, be still in the gross body, be still in the subtle body, be still in the causal body. Fat, purify. Kumari, let's all the family sit down together. Light a candle, light a stick of incense, put a flower on the altar, sit in front of an altar with God and with pictures and icons and murtis, or let's just sit in a circle and share together and we'll all chant our Guru Mantra. All together. The whole family. Take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes, take 15 minutes every day, the whole family, from the time that she's a Kumari till the time that she is for the rest of your lives. Just take the time to spend with each other and give each other even a spoonful of charanamrit and sing a mantra and sing it together. And do a little jop. And these will reinforce the bhavana, the vibration, the spandana, the feeling, the upalabdhi, the feeling of being a goddess and living in a divine family. And the divine family is so tight, they're so together that they spend time together every day, whether they need it or not. They just love to have that time, that moment where they come together. Nanda has asked, can a family perform Kumari Puja to the daughter for all Navaratris when she is between 5 and 12 years old? Generally, you don't. Generally, at least in a temple, we search for a new Kumari from time to time so that we can share the blessings and share the love. Now, in the family, I don't know that you would want to have the same Kumari every time. It gets to a point where she knows the pujas so well that it ceases to be unique, or it ceases to be a challenge to the pujari, or it ceases to be a fun experience for the Kumari. It becomes more of a duty. Rather, you could take out the photo album or take out the movie projector and watch the movie when she was a Kumari, and we will do our own puja and she can join in the puja. Make the Kumari a pujari, or watch the slow motion replay of what it was like to do Kumari Puja with this Kumari. What happens if the child is naughty or throws a tantrum in the middle of the puja? Is it okay to break our asan in such a case to pacify the child? You do what is necessary. I want to tell you the story of one child who was worshipped as Kumari. She was a young girl. She must have been, she was 3 years old. And this was in Kamakhya. And she was the daughter of one of the priests. And no matter what I gave to her, she cried. And I gave her sweets. She cried. She didn't want to take it. I gave her candy. She cried and didn't want to take it. I gave her all the love, all the devotion. I washed her feet, and all she could do was cry and cry and cry until I gave her some money. And then she started laughing and laughing and laughing. I couldn't believe that at such a young age that she had learned the priestly craft. She had learned her trade already. Generally we don't break the asan, but we call the parent over to pacify the child. Let's see. For families with no daughters, will giving gifts of clothes, ornaments, etc. to other little girls be a good alternative to the Kumari Puja? That is the Kumari Puja. Now, there are many pujas where we perform Batuk Puja and Kumari Puja. We invite the little boys and the little girls. We invite 8 Brahmins. We invite 12 children. Santoshima Udyapan is performed with children. And you can call both boys and girls. And for girls, you will give cloth and food and money. And boys, too, you'll give cloth and food and money. So then, it's not like an alternative to doing the puja to the girl of your family. It is the goal to worship all the little girls and all the little boys and all the little people, so that they grow up with this centered in divinity. They grow up feeling divine, and wow, people are worshiping me just like they worship the gods, and what a joy it is to have that kind of an experience, to have that respect, the experience of such a respect. Is there any equivalent for boys? And yes, there is. I just spoke about Batuk Puja, and many of the do you know when you do Udyapan for 16 Mondays for Shiva, you can worship little boys and little girls. So they are both the same. But these are not known as sanskaras because it is not mandatory that you do so. How many little girls can be seated as goddesses for the Kumari Puja? I don't know how many hands you have, but it's enough to worship one. If you have 2 people who want to be pujaris, it would be possible to do 2. If you have many people who want to be pujaris, it's a little bit difficult to provide them with all of the things that they need in order to do the puja. However, so generally 1 or 2 or possibly 3, but generally not more than that. Remember, there are 4 Navaratris every year, and you'll need Kumari Puja. You can worship Kumari Puja at any time, but especially during the Navaratri, it's very auspicious, and so you'll want to budget your Kumaris. Any auspicious number like 3 or 9, etc.? Yes, there's auspicious numbers, and there's 1 is fine, 2 is fine. Also, what is the record number of little goddesses at a single Kumari Puja?
3 and 4 very auspicious.
3 and 4 are very auspicious, so that's what we have done in the past. Is there any relation to this puja and the Nepali tradition of establishing a girl as a Kumari for several years? Absolutely. Their tradition is rooted in this Kumari Puja. However, when they choose a Kumari, they make her the presiding Kumari for many years, and she doesn't have anything else to do but be Kumari. And our little girls have to go to school, and they have to help mom in the kitchen, they have to learn how to do the housework, and they have many other functions to perform. Nanda, do you have any other questions about Kumari Puja?
Yes, Swami, we do. This is from Ambika from New Jersey.
Yes, Ambika, namaste.
Once a girl has been chosen for Kumari Puja, does she carry this with her for the rest of her life?
Absolutely.
What would that mean for this girl?
Oh, once she feels, I'm sorry, you're probably going to have to ask one of the Kumaris. But in my understanding, once she feels that I am the recipient of respect, that people are taking blessings from me, she has no occasion to accept Abuse. Why would she accept abuse when she is the emblem of purity, of clarity, of innocence and trust? She knows she's a goddess. She carries herself as a goddess. She exudes the blessings of the goddess. Why would she ever find herself in a circumstance which was contrary to inspiring her divinity? And this is our aspiration, that these young ladies, when they're worshipped and they grow up into the young girls grow into young ladies, we hope that they will maintain the presence and the bhavana, the attitude with them. Wait, this isn't appropriate ways to treat a goddess. I don't need to accept this kind of behavior. This is not right for me. So they get that kind of discrimination. Nanda?
Ambika is asking, do all girls receive a Kumari Puja, or is one chosen for this honor?
At any one time, because one girl or two girls or three girls, maybe four girls are chosen for this honor. Everyone is not chosen, and that's why it's not amongst the list of the sanskaras that are mandatory, but it's amongst the sanskaras that are optional. So this can be performed, and it's desirable that it be performed, but it is not mandatory that it be performed. Nanda?
Why is it that the Kumari Puja cannot be performed on a girl who has attained puberty?
Because she no longer has that purity, that clarity, that innocence, that trust. She's already become an adult, and we're going to talk about that in our next discussion.
Okay. Deity is asking, does the child have to prepare in any way beforehand?
Generally, the parents of the child will discuss with her what it means. We like to sit down with our photo album and show them pictures of what they'll look like, what they should act like, what they should expect, what they should hope for, what kinds of blessings they could give. And the parents will give them that kind of education before they dress them.
And also Kumari up to 14 years old, from 4 to 14 years, it has written this, who's that one? Goddess.
Each year of age amongst the Kumaris from 3 to 14 or 3 to 13 is an emblem or the representative of one of the goddesses, one form of the goddess. So you have the Kumari as Katyayani, as Kalyani, as Chamunda, as various forms of the goddess. So each one of them is given the name of the goddess who presides over that age group. Nanda?
A question from Dan from New Jersey.
Namaste, Dan.
As well as Kumari from Canada.
Hi, Kumari. Namaste.
Can you please explain how you took the Kumari Puja and determine the mantras for Nyas? And also, what are the Nyasas and Gayatri, etc. for Kumari Puja?
The Bij mantra of Kumari is calm. And so it's calm, kim, kum, koing, kong, ka. Those will be the Sharanganyas. Kom ridagay moking siro sesma kum shikaya kibasa koing akabachaya kum kong netra takabasa ka karoto kaprishta bandastraya pa om kang kumari namaha. Now in Gayatri, in the Gayatri Bidhi, we do not perform the Kumari Nyas. We perform the Gayatri Nyas, which is different from the Kumari Nyas. Nanda?
A combined question from Devi and Dan.
Yes.
And they're asking, what is the appropriate time to perform the Kumari Puja in the year? Is it only certain Navratris or any specific time during the year?
Well, you can perform Kumari Puja at any time during the Sukla Paksh, in the bright fortnight of any month. However, it is most often performed during the spring Navaratri and the fall Navaratri. You can also perform it during the summer Navaratri and the winter Navaratri. You can perform the puja at any time, but it is most efficacious. It's just like the Satyananda Vrat. This puja can be performed at any time, but it is most efficacious on the full moon. So Kumari Puja is most efficacious during the Navaratri. Nanda?
Swami, I think Dan wants once more the clarification. How did you take the Kumari Puja and determine the mantras for the Navyan?
Dan, it's called the vriddhi, or the elongated form of the vowel which goes in the with that bija. So her bija is calm. And I'll give the bijas as we write out the pujas in the book. But if it's calm, it'll be kom, king, kum, koing, kong, ka. And that's how we figure out the bijas of anyone. If we have Durga's bijas, hrim, hrang, ring, rung, roing, rong, ra. Shiva's bija is different. It's na Om Namah Shivaya. It's Panchakshara. But Brahma's bija is bong, bing, bong, boing, bong, ba. And we take the elongated form of the vowel and place it all through with the first letter of the bij. And mother says Dan is dung ding dung or ding dong. Nanda?
Kumari is asking what dhyana would be done for Kumari Puja.
What is what?
Dhanam.
What's dhyana?
I recited the Dhyanam already. I will give it in the book. It's in your cosmic puja. So if you look under the Gayatri Vidhi in the Cosmic Puja, you'll find the Dhyanam for Kumari. Nanda?
Amika is asking, are the girls given a choice whether or not they want to be a Kumari?
Absolutely.
Are there any implications if they say no?
No, there's no problem if they say no. They're just not ready for it. And it doesn't mean they have to be a Kumari. It's optional and it's a privilege. And if they don't want to participate, then they need not. But we would want to encourage them to participate and say, you don't know what an opportunity you would be missing if you don't avail this privilege. That would be our way of promoting this participation in the Kumari Puja. Nanda?
Amy is asking, last what you said, Swamiji, about reinforcing the Kumari Puja with the room cleaning and such. Could we discuss good ways in directing the child rather than the worldly ways of fucking at them and scolding them?
Oh, absolutely. Dan, you'll have to excuse me. My children are all over 40. So you're listening to theories from sannyasi. However, if you could work with your children, I know for myself, when I got the opportunity to work with my guru, I was really excited and wanted to do a very good job and wanted to do it thoroughly and wanted to do it completely, just to share my love and demonstrate my respect. So the best way that I know is to teach by an example. Not just to order the kid to go do your homework, I'm going to sit here and watch TV, but rather pick up a book and start reading with the child. And then the child will do the homework. Keep your room in order and cleanliness, and then invite the child to help you pick up your things, and you'll go help her pick up her things. Maybe washing dishes together is a very beautiful way of inspiring within the child. You ask Shree Ma, she'll vouch for me. I'm a very good dishwasher. Maybe a lousy cook, but a good dishwasher. And so if I get the opportunity, I learned that by washing dishes with my family. We all washed together and we sang together. If you would sing the mantra while you're washing the dishes, you could all sing louder and more fun and put more bhava into the mantra and let the mantra wash the dishes. You don't have to wash dishes as a staid activity which requires you to be stoic. You could wash the dishes with joy and a lot of fun. So these are ways that I could suggest, Dan, that you could inspire Kumari to remember her Kumariness and grow up in a family of worshipers and be worshipful and respectful at the same time. Nanda?
Julia from San Diego is asking, how is the girl selected or chosen as the one to receive the worship? Does the guru select a particular girl?
Namaste, Julia. Yes, definitely the guru will select, or the pujari will select, or the congregation will select, or someone will recommend. And when we meet a family, they have a beautiful young daughter at the age of 3 to 13, then we say to the family, could we worship your daughter in the next Navaratri? And it's usually our invitation that we extend. Now that's our practice in the Devi Mandir. I don't know, other mandirs will do it in their own way. Nanda?
Dan is asking, Swamiji, is there a story of a Kumari goddess or any reference to her in scripture?
Yes, there are. Kumari goes all the way back to the Rig Veda. You'll find Kumaring Rig Veda Yuktam. Brahma Rupam Vichintayet. I'm thinking about the form of Brahma as Kumari from the Rig Veda. So yes, she comes from scripture. She is a scriptural goddess. And it's our privilege to worship her in our midst. Nanda?
Is she a manifestation of Mahalakshmi or any specific goddess?
No, not in that way. She's Kumari. She's not all of the goddesses are manifestations of Mahalakshmi. Just as is your perception, so is the creation, is what Mother has said. But you see, Sarvas Adya Mahalakshmi Triguna Parameshwari. First and foremost was the goddess Mahalakshmi. She is Mool Prakriti, and she is the three gunas before they become distinguished. She is Laksha or Laksh. She is definable and indefinable. So certainly you can say that Kumari is a form of Mahalakshmi. However, it's quite meaningless in this situation. It's not like she's an avatar. It's not like she's an incarnation. It's not like she's a chip off the old block. Nanda?
So how did Kumari come to be brought down to be worshipped in the ceremony? What is the correlation to the Kumari in Rig Veda and ceremony in this particular ceremony? This is a question from Dan.
Dan, this Kumari from Rig Veda, from Vedic times, has been the goddess of purity and clarity, innocence and trust. And from generation to generation, from the time of the Vedas, we have been worshiping our daughters as the the emblem of purity and innocence and trust, and trying to instill within them that purity and innocence and trust. And now, in our modern times, we still have this opportunity. You have a friend who has a daughter of young age, and you are qualified to be the pujari. Invite them to your puja, invite them to your navaratri. Ask if you could have permission to worship that young girl as a goddess, and instill within her the qualities, the characteristics of purity and innocence and trust. I remember one Kumari, and I was worshiping. She was on the young side, probably a 3-year-old, and I was giving her flowers, Etiganda Pushpe and Etiganda Pushpe, and I was giving so many flowers, and then I wasn't looking in the bowl of flowers. I pulled out one flower, and it was wilted. And I said, Etiganda Pushpe, and I put it at her feet, and she looked at me. She looked at the flower, and she picked up the flower, and she threw it away.
That's so beautiful.
It is so beautiful. It was my mistake. Why would I give a wilted flower to my goddess?
But they can transform.
That our love, our respect, our worship can inspire the transformation of this little girl into the goddess with complete discrimination, with complete knowledge. I had one little girl say, I bless you with wisdom and peace. I bless you with love and patience. And she was blessing everybody with whatever was appropriate for their circumstances in life. This is what happens, Dan, when you worship the goddess of purity and innocence and trust. Nanda?
Andy, would you say that most of the time this puja would be a light puja, it's more of a social occasion than a real sadhana?
No, I would not agree with that. I think it is one of the most challenging pujas that a pujari can make. And the reason it's challenging is because by nature a young girl, 3, 4, 5 years of age, is fidgety. And by nature she wants to move around, and she can't keep her gaze still. She's looking here and there, and especially if there's a large crowd, and especially if she's got brothers and sisters and family members in the crowd, she wants to call out to them, she wants to look at them, she wants to get up and run away, she wants to go run off and play, and to love her so much that she, even though looking at them, she is feeling your vibration. This is a great challenge. It's a great sadhana. How much love can you give to your to your deity? This is the measurement of it. This is the apex of success for a pujari. Anyone can worship a still idol, but to worship a living goddess. And then once you have that capacity to worship the living goddess, you can worship everywhere. You can worship without distraction yourself, because you have taken away all of her distractions. And as you give, so you will receive. You get the prasad of your worship. You're not going to get the prasad of anyone else's worship. You'll get the prasad of your worship, what you give. Tadati pratigrinati. As you give, so he shall receive. And this is the nature of the pin by which all of this has been bound by Mahadev. That's the Kilakastal. So now, here we are. We've got this living goddess. She's by nature fidgety. And we love her so much that she sits still. Now that's sadhana. Nanda?
If we're looking to worship purity, wouldn't it be more pure to worship a newborn baby or a baby instead of a grown-up girl or a child?
The newborn baby, Nanda, doesn't have the consciousness, the awareness of what we're doing or how we're doing it. What does it mean and how am I feeding it? Oh, it doesn't have that level of sophistication of discrimination. The newborn baby would just be the child in the crib, and we do worship with the child in the crib, but we try to create vibrations around that child and inside her ears and inside her brain and inside her heart, that she is loved and she is divine and she is respected and she is appreciated. And we raise our children and cultivate that level of trust within them, so that as soon as they're able to sit still, they can become Kumaris. Nanda?
Ambika is asking, can a child with a mental disability be a Kumari?
No.
Mother says no. And the reason would be that she doesn't have the discrimination or doesn't have the understanding or the control, the self-control by which she could discriminate what is the efficacy of this worship. Now, Brahma eva Brahma babhanti, you will become only as your perception is. And how will you, if you are worshiping someone with disability, then you will cultivate that attitude. So we don't want to be in that position. We will worship with her, but not worship her. That won't be appropriate. But teach her to worship, that will be the best. Teach her to offer the flowers, that will be the best. Teach her to wave the light, that will be the best. Teach her to wave the incense, that will be the best. But to have her sit still, that won't be appropriate. Nanda?
We are out of questions for this particular topic. Should I ask questions from the backlog, or do you want?
You know what? We only have about 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and ask questions from the past.
Thanks, Swamiji. So, Bharati had a question. How does circumcision fit into the Vedas?
It does not. There is absolutely no mention of circumcision within the Vedas. So, if you want to create the evolutionary path for the Vedas, you will be evolving in your own direction. You can't legislate that for everyone. It's not part of the Vedic culture. Nanda?
Dan is asking, you mentioned that the soul is in each seed from male and female. Do you mean individual souls in each seed, or do you mean the Paramatma?
I mean,
help us understanding transmigration any clearer?
no. Very, very difficult to understand transmigration intellectually. But you can feel it. You know that the Paramatma is the soul, the universal soul of all being. And the Paramatma is within the sperm. The Paramatma is within the ovum. And when the sperm and the ovum join, the Paramatma unites and creates one embryo, or one seed, or one spark of life. And that becomes Jivatma. From the Paramatma, it becomes a Jivatma. And that Jiva has all the DNA within the chromosomes that united from the sperm and the ovum. So they're going to unite, and they have all the attributes and the capabilities and the attitudes and the qualities of the personality which is about to be manifest in that womb. So in this way, the soul is taking birth. It's not like the soul was within you and the soul was within you and the two souls became one soul. It's another way of talking about it. And then there's a unity, there's a oneness, and there's that one soul that evolves and fulfills its destiny, its karma. Nanda?
And is asking, is the karma of the child matching the parents somehow?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is a tendency that like is attracted to like. And opposites repel. So, therefore, I come into contact with Dan. And I come into contact with Devi and Ambika and Julia and Usha and Kumari. All these beautiful souls, we have a tendency to come together. If that's true for us in our lives, we all gravitate towards the greater me. And so the soul, when it's in the formless state, one with the Paramatma, still has a sanskara. And looking down upon the earth, it says, gee, there's the mommy and the daddy that'll be appropriate for me in order to fulfill my destiny. And that's the kind of household that the soul takes birth within. Nanda?
Ambika is asking, some women have very difficult pregnancies and some women simply do not like how it feels to be pregnant, although they do want to have children. What advice can be given to these women?
Every time there's some discomfort, I would suggest that it's an opportunity to remember God. Do you know how complacent we become when it's so comfortable and everything's going easy? Suddenly there's an obstacle and there's a confrontation and there's a conflict, and then we reach out and grab for God. Now, all through the pregnancy, there are mild times and there are difficult times. And when it becomes difficult, let's grab onto God and say, God, you want this child to manifest through me. This is my sadhana. This is my tapasya. I have become the living house of God. And God lives within me. Now, what a privilege it is for me to serve you through this activity, by giving birth to the child of God. Nanda?
Are there mantras or pujas can be done by couples that are wanting to have a baby but are unable to? Should they perform these pujas or act in faith?
They should perform these pujas. Yes, if they want to have children, they should understand, what is the attitude? Why am I wanting to have children? What do I want to do with this child? How do I want to guide this child to be the best? Do I just want this child to flow with me wherever I go? Or do I have a specific destination in mind? Do I have my path defined? Do I have my life defined? Am I together? Am I strong enough to give my child my abundance? Now, if we answer those questions, then yes, I want to do these pujas. I want to guide this child in the way of Dharma so that she will become the best that she can become. I want my child to be a manifestation of Dharma, of the ideals of perfection in every way. I want to be the example to that child, how she could be, how he could be one with the ideals of perfection. And that means I know who I am. I know who my partner is. We know where we're going. We know how we're proposing to get there. And let's go. We're going together and we're nurturing our children in the way of Dharma. This is our goal. This is our life. This is our Jivan Yatra. This is the pilgrimage that we're taking through life. Nanda?
I think I'm asking, what if someone gets pregnant under violent circumstances such as rape? Do we still perform the puja?
You can, absolutely. If you choose to keep the child, then you should choose to keep the child divine. And no matter what the circumstances,
If they are divine.
no matter what the circumstances of the pregnancy are, if you choose to be the mother of this child, that's a sankalpa that you've chosen to take. And once you've chosen to take that sankalpa, you should want very much to fulfill the dharma of being a parent, of raising that child with the greatest ideals of perfection and being the example of someone who has it together, whether the child was conceived by choice or by circumstance. Nanda?
Do we maintain the attitude that our child is not ours, but rather the child of God that we are caring for from the very beginning of their life? How can we strengthen this attitude so that we don't forget it?
Jap, puja, tap, all of these pujas and the regular puja and the daily puja and all the spiritual exercises that we perform, Ambika, are designed to inspire us to relinquish our attachment, to give up all of our personal concerns and considerations, and to fit into the greatest, the highest ideals of perfection, to reach for the best. From the earth we reach for the divine. And here we are, we have this opportunity, no matter what circumstances cause the opportunity. I find myself in this situation, I made the determination, I do want to be the parent of this child, and I want to be the parent of this child to the best of my capacity. Now let me fulfill God's will by acting in accordance with all of He gave us a roadmap. He gave us stepping stones. He said, perform these pujas at this time, and you'll remind yourself, it's not your karma. It's your dharma. It's not happening to you. It's a privilege afforded to you. That's how we try to maintain that attitude. Nanda?
Swamiji, a question from Dan. He's saying, I'm wondering, Swamiji, what does it mean to make a contribution to society, as you have been saying? Does it require some physical proactivity and a job, gather resources? Or is it chanting and doing puja able to secure our future as well? How can we live a life of sadhana and be guided by it if we don't want to charge for puja, and how will we survive in the society?
Mother says that God gave us 24 hours. With 8 hours, you can work for God. With 8 hours, you can rest and nurture yourself. And with 8 hours, you can work for creation. 3 times 8 is the 24 hours. But Dan, I would say that, look, everything you do could be a contribution to creation if you so deem it. If you define your actions as a contribution to creation, your chanting mantras could be a contribution to creation, but not that alone. You have to do something more. You want to give the best that you possibly can. You want to continue to give and reinforce that giving, and so that contribution is better. The world is a better place because of my having been here. That's the real answer to the question, Dan. Can I give something that makes this world a better place? Can I save the whale? Can I clean up the oil? Can I teach the method of worship? Can I share? Can I inspire? Can I work for others? Can I do something for others without worrying about what's coming to me? Dan, my experience says that if you do for others, they will do for you. It's not a question, how can I survive as a pujari if I don't charge? We have this Devi Mandir, and we're doing pujas, and we're surviving. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha.
Thank you, everybody.
Namaste.